this Osage Trail.
Uh-huh.
Can you tell us about that trail?
It is actually the Osage Trail. It isn't just something we blazed out through the woods. That's the trail that the Osage Indians, when they came to this country, they started out over at, they come in there by Silver Lake in Bartlesville.
Oh, okay.
And that's the area they was using.
Mm-hmm.
Government comes along and says, no, you belong over here 20-some miles to the north, to the west. And they had to pick up, move. The Osage called that the Trail of Terrors, and that was the trail that they blazed out and went through to Pawhuska on.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Trail of Terror. The Osage Indian calls it our Trail of Terrors because that was the third time to have to move. Third or the fourth time. I think that was their fourth move. From they classed that as one move to the Silver Lake, and then that was their fourth move to have to move on to Bartlesville or over to Pawhuska. And they called that their Trail of Terrors.
How long ago was that?
Had an 1840 something. And that was used as a road between Bartlesville and Pawhuska until after 1910 or 12.
So when the Boy Scouts were
when they went to getting cars, then they built a new road going to Bartlesville.
So when the Boy Scouts were started in Pawhuska, I understand that they actually all marched to Bartlesville. Is that the trail that they took?
That's the trail they took. That group walked that trail.
Oh, okay.
They rode wagon and part of them walking and riding wagon horses.
And is the current trail still on the same path, or is it been?
It's on the same path.
Same path. Okay.
There's one place there where you're going down. The creek comes down here and makes a long little bend in back like that. And they went from here over to here instead of, and the original trail went here now.
Oh, okay.
And that's about the only place that they varied. One or two places they varied off just a little bit.
Okay.
But the road had changed over into cars when they got to using more transportation. Why? Horses and things. Well, then they got to cutting through this other, and that's the trail that they took.
Okay.
When you get over here just below the cub cabin, going across that draw don't show it as much as on the one. There's one over here, further over there, that when you're walking it, if you look, you can see the tracks where the wagons had wore little notches in the wall.
Really?
Wow.
In the sandstone.
Cool.
If you know what you're watching for and looking, you'll notice that you wouldn't think anything about it if you wasn't looking for it. It's kind of like out of Philmont. You get out there at Philmont, and you go down south of south of Base ways. You get back down there. There's a house back up there on the road going around into the south end of the camp. And when you go on that, you can get up there and look back towards camp, and you can see the Santa Fe Trail.
Oh, wow, cool.
The Santa Fe Trail, that there, Tufa Time was the turning point on the Santa Fe Trail. They had an area at Santa Fe Trail went south, and that was the turning point back west. That's the Tufa Time. And they come to that, they made the bend around the Tufa Time and went back, turned back west again. But they go up, it comes in there toward Raton or somewhere, and then going south, and then it turns back. That's where they turn back and go back over and go across the mountains.
Interesting.
It's an area where there's not as many the mountain's not as high. They kind of pass through there, and that's the way they came. It's amazing how they figured out how to find those passes and things. Nowadays, they can go in an airplane and find them.
Yes.
See them. See those places where to go. But they wasn't up there in that air looking down.
No, they weren't.
They had to just depend on who were walking back and forth and figuring that out.
Exactly.
Probably took a long time just to figure it out. I mean.
Now, yeah, it took a long time to figure out just exactly what was the easiest way to get through them. And
When-
that's where the Indians now, they went around through there for they was getting around Sand Creek. They went up that way and then come back down by the falls at Osage Hill State Park. And where the falls are, there was not, they could walk across the creek there. And they walked across the creek there. That's where they walked across the creek at.
Did they ever camp anywhere along the path here that's still here?
The group from Pawhuska camped up here in the upper end of the camp,
Okay,
or just off the edge of the camp up there.
really. Is it marked or is it just?
No, I've never found any. They couldn't. The ones that was alive that I talked to couldn't remember exactly where they camped.
But they did remember.
Now I had one guy that tell me that he says they camped up there above the upper end, but I wonder about him when he after he passed away. I kind of wondered then. He told me that he was in the the group went to the first National Jamboree in England,
Oh
or
wow.
World Jamboree in England,
Uh-huh.
and he went to that. A group of Indians went over there, and he was an Indian group went over there, and he told about going over there in 1920. And he told about going trail, and I got to figuring, if he went walk this trail, what age was he when he walked the trail? And then he would have been over 18 in 1920. I was wondering if he went as an adult or how he went as that.
Yeah.
And I come find out he was a boy when he went over in England. It was a dance team. And when he passed away, he couldn't have been over between 2 and 3 years old when they went to Bartlesville.
Huh.
So if he went on that trail to Bartlesville, he had a good memory to remember where that stuff was at.
Yeah.
Because there had to be somebody taking a baby with him.
Yeah. So you actually got to meet a lot of the people that
Uh-huh.
made that trip. How old were you at that time? Were you just a young Boy Scout?
Yeah, when?
When you talked with these people?
Oh, yeah, I talked to them over the different years.
Oh, okay.
In fact, one of them one of the guys, McGuire, that was in the first troop, was a real estate guy. I bought a home from him. I bought a place from him, through him. He was with Osage Federal, and I bought it through him, and he handled the paperwork.
Oh, okay.